Hello, Facebook Live. How are you? Welcome. Of course, we are prepping to go live on IG as well. So let me throw our title in here. We should be good to go. So forgive me if I am in slow motion today. Today is the day of rest, literally, that I didn't ask for, but I guess God knew I needed or something, because turn my camera around. Ooh, child, IG. This iPad be showing everything. Thank God my wrong claim. So let's see if it'll go live. Giving me problems again, like it did the other day. Say hey when you come in, y'all. Let me know you're here. Let's chat briefly in slow motion. Oh, it still won't let me do a title. Hello, IG. We are live here. Wish I could figure out how to title it, but I'll just pen it instead. I'm semi-fluent in IG Live, so here we go. I've been on here for like 2 days. Yay, pin the comment. Hey, y'all. So I feel like I'm talking slow. I'm definitely moving slow. I've been asleep most of the day today. Yesterday was my doctor's appointment where I decided on the spot to get the vaccination. It really wasn't on the spot. Y'all know me. I'm very strategy. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Crystal. How are you? So I talked to my doctor. She is so knowledgeable. She stayed with me. I was in my doctor's office for 2.5 hours yesterday, y'all. But it was all good. So she really educated me on the vaccine and how my body would respond, because I am allergic to egg products. And the flu shot has egg products. So she can never give me the flu shot because I'll react. And she has an EpiPen on standby while they call the ambulance to come take you to the emergency room. So I really had to go through proper protocol for me personally to see, how I would respond to this shot. So far, my only response has been to nap all day. But this is not uncommon. A couple months back, I got a B12 shot, a series of like 2 of them for more energy, blah, blah, blah. And I think it promoted better sleep too. Child, I slept. So this is reminding me of my body's response to the B12 shot. So my neighbors have been checking on me all day. I've been getting calls and texts and like, don't make me come over now, because I've been knocked out. I woke up and it was like, oh, I got to go live. So I had to cook dinner really quick and then jump on here. So I am happy that I made the decision to say yes to the vaccine for my own personal reasons. I wasn't listening to word on the street. I went straight to the source, like, Doc, I got a million questions. And she answered all. She provided the receipts and facts and stories and parables, and she preached to me. And so I got it done. So I go back in a couple weeks for round 2. So I just have to have a day on the calendar blocked out for maybe a whole nother day of sleep. Coach Helen says I'm here and dedicated by God's will. Yes. So, yeah, the ironic part is, and I don't want to make this a political thing because y'all been in my business for months. Like, when I did get the B12 shot, I recorded it, and one of my coaches was in my inbox like, did you get the vaccine? I feel she was judgy. I'm like, first of all, get out my business. It was a video. Secondly, if I did get the vaccine, it's my choice, my body, my choice. So I don't really speak on a whole lot of, we ain't gonna go there. But I got educated on all 3 of the shots. But the ironic part was, as I was sitting in the doctor's waiting room filling out 1,000 forms, and then they still ask you the same questions. I was like, I just put that on that form. Don't ask me that. The news was on in the lobby, and they were talking about one of the shots and the adverse reactions that some people had. So, child, I just looked at my doctor and said, I'm scared. Help me. What is this? So that's what she did. She was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is a personal decision. And so after we talked, and, she's a woman of God. We talked church and everything. So God be knowing who to put in your life, right? He knew who to send my way, because I didn't talk to friends and neighbors and people who like, you ain't get the shot yet. Child, you don't know my story. Don't do that. As they say, don't do that. So my doctor literally knows my story and files of how long she's been treating me all these years. And she was the one I trusted to educate me on the process. And I'm glad I said yes, because I had symptoms of what appeared to be COVID way before COVID was announced. And I said, Jesus, thank you that I made it through that, because it acted like it didn't want to go away. And secondly, by the time the season comes back around, I'm gonna be a whole year older. My body might not respond like it did the first time when we made it through. And then she explained to me what also could happen, in more detail. And I said, okay, if it increases my chances of not feeling how I felt with that first go round of symptoms, I volunteer my hand as a divergent to go forth in the Lord. Okay. So enough about that. I just had to explain why I feel like I'm running in slow motion. And I only know this. I haven't really had much interaction with humans today other than my maintenance team stopped by. They're installing a new bedroom door, which I'm excited about. It's upon special request. So they came to do the measurements, and they were looking at me like, you ain't your normal, bubbly, cheerful self. What's going on? I was like, bye, y'all. I'm about to go back to bed. I literally opened the door in the house robe. Now, when I do that, I am not expecting company, okay? So, yeah. So, as I heard myself on the phone with my neighbor checking in, I was like, I am talking really slow right now. So, if y'all hear that, forgive me, okay? So, yes, this process of self-care and adulting, and not having mama to just set your appointments and tell you what to do, or not having, I just didn't want to get to the point where the vaccine was becoming mandatory and I show up at somewhere like, let's say my church that I saw. One of my former pastors was right after COVID, and everybody had started getting the vaccine. It's like, you can come in the sanctuary if you got your vaccine card. I said, Lord Jesus, it's going to be required to have a card to prove you vaccinated to go to church. Let me just go and do what thus saith the Lord for me and my household. I can't judge nobody else. But as for me and the Austins, it's just me, y'all. Me and Jesus. We go serve the Lord. So, yeah. So that's what I did. And I'm very methodical about my medical history. I take very good care of myself. That's why I don't know why I'm not like half the size I am. I do know. Because I prefer naps over exercise. That's why. So, anyway. This ain't why I jumped on here to talk about COVID, okay? So, yeah, it is, I'm all about education. Like, as a life coach, that's one of the things we learn, finding your core values. Education is my core value. So anything that I do concerning my health and the future of my legacy, building my business, I'm educated. So that's why I met with my doctor about my body, my medical history, and what my choices were. And she let me make a decision. So anything anybody else got to say, okay. Okay. Y'all seen that little boy on TikTok? His mama be telling him that. Oh, okay. And he repeats it. But he say, okay. So that's my response. Oh, okay. You and your judgment or whatever you think about what I did with my body. Okay. So yeah. Education is at the basis. That's why I jumped on here today to chat with y'all about education of becoming a future Black life coach, because my day yesterday was still booked and busy. So after I left the doctor's office, I found this cute coffee shop that I did not know was in our neck of the hood / woods. It's not really on my side of town, but it was in the part of Atlanta that I was coming through. And my one of my coaching buddies is jealous because she didn't know it was there. She's like, she judged me because I found a coffee shop without her. And then I teased her and sent her video and took pictures of my food and my drink. But I went just briefly to gather my thoughts. And I was listening to another coach's video that talked about being on the same level as those who learn from you and not talking over their head. And I, in that moment, said, God, am I talking over the heads of the people who are new to me, who may have never heard of coaching, but they like this pretty brown girl? That's the remix. So y'all show up and y'all like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. I don't know what a coach is, but I like you. Tell me more. So I came up with a series of like 15, 16 questions that I have been asked over the last few days from people new here. And so I clean out my Facebook friends list often because everybody is not my tribe, and that's okay. But when you guys, who are my tribe, who want to be here, who maybe only saw or heard of me once, I want to make sure that I'm speaking your language. So I have to go by the questions that I've been asked in the inbox. and I will do a series of videos answering these 16 questions. Some are personal too, which I really love because it reminds me of like a podcast interview. But this is the best way. So if you're a new coach and you're certified, doing what I'm about to show you how to do over this series of videos is the best way to get in touch with your crew. Okay, so pick up what I'm putting down. Okay, if you are new here, or maybe you are like, let's see, I've received a couple messages recently that's like, yeah, I've been watching you for years. I gotta say it like that because I'm from the country. And they are ready to get certified. So recently, God gave me the spiritual download for this program I call 10 for 10. And it's over at www.blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. Facebook, I just pinned it in the comments for you. IG, it is pinned in the comments for you as well. Hope it's clickable. But over at blacklifecoachselfstudy.com, it's where I take what I do, where I'm answering all these questions in a deep dive, 8-hour, one-day training. But don't worry, you don't have to take the training in a day because I spread it out over 10 months for you. I chopped it up, did like this. If y'all see my stories, y'all know I just made some sweet potato fries. Let me see if I can show some to you without dropping them. That's what's left. So chop these up. That's what I did with my one-day training, and turned it into a 10-part training that is now 10 months long. It's still one day is an option. You can do it in a day. All 167, I think 160, I don't know, I lost count. But we got 167 Black Life Coaches on our roster. Most of them have taken this in one day. Just in the last few days, I introduced it as the chopped up recipe, sweet potato. That's what we should call it, the sweet potato recipe of the one day. And it gives you 10 months to go through the program and 10 months to pay it off. It's a $1,000 course. Of course, you can pay that in full one time, get access to everything. That's what Carla is doing, one of our future Black Life Coaches who I know will watch the replay and comment because I always be talking about her. But she's like, I want everything all at once. So if you want it at once, but you're willing to start somewhere, this is your start somewhere over at blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. And so we dive into so much that is left out of trainings that are out there, but it's made specifically for Black women of faith who want to become certified life coaches online in one day. By the way, if you're new here, hey, my name is Dr. AJ Austin. I'm founder of the International Center for Life Coach Training, LLC, where I train Black women of faith to become certified life coaches online in one day. And so now we have the 10 for 10 program that is getting ready to close the doors. I have 2 spots left on this round. I'm not sure when I'll reintroduce the next round or if I will. But so far, these spots have been gobbled up. But I still wanted to make sure that whoever those last 2 people are that's been stalking and lurking and following me, watching my videos, listening to my podcast and my YouTube, hey y'all, I wanted to give you a chance to jump in if you feel like 10 for 10 is for you, because again, it's my one-day life coach certification training. Yes, you will leave with a certificate. I chopped it up into 10 months so you don't have to stress about sitting down for 8 hours straight, not blinking, and taking a test. You can do it in 10 months and you can pay it off in 10 months. It's only $100 a month for 10 months. Now that that's said, because some of you are new, don't know what coaching is, and want the basics, I'm going to start with a very basic question that I get a lot, and that is, what is a life coach? Now, if you are familiar with Black Life Coach TV, you know that I have almost 300 videos on that channel that's answering questions like this and so much more. But I personally didn't feel like digging through the archive, so I guess I didn't want you to as well. So this is the remix. Y'all ready for the remix? If you're ready for the remix, let me see some emojis. Be like, just tell me, sis, in a couple sentences what a life coach is, because I don't know. I need to find some chapstick because my lips dry. I've been rushing to eat, been drinking, and now I'm talking. There we go. Okay. I need a emoji. I'm going to just wait on the emoji, I think. Anybody got any emojis they can spell to tell me that you need to know what a life coach is? Or am I talking to the wrong people? Do I need to reclaim my Facebook list? Because I need to make space for people who really need what I got to say, sis. Where y'all at? IG, where you at? GP, are you with? Okay. So, in a nutshell, a life coach is a fairly new concept. It was introduced late 80s, early 90s by the founder of the entire life coaching industry. His name is Thomas J. Leonard. Good looking white man. I like older gentlemen with the, silver beard, and he was healthy lifestyle, positive principles, wrote books, and then he introduced life coaching to the masses. He passed away at a young age, but before he left, his legacy was, of course, to teach those of us who would come after him, follow in his footsteps for the path that he had paved for people who wanted to live a healthy, positive, upbeat lifestyle that's leaving legacies. My coach that I was introduced to back in 2013 was one of the people that trained with Thomas J. Leonard, the literal founder of the life coaching industry. When I got certified in 2013, I did it in a 2-day process. And what I discovered was that a life coach, although I knew what it was, I was being shown what they do. And what we do is find other people in their lives who are like, I'm at a point where I want to go bigger. I know God has more for me. I want to set some bigger goals. I want to accomplish more. I've been trying to do this on my own, but I really need help. I'm missing that accountability piece because I keep procrastinating. And I really need you to help me to achieve what I really know God wants me to do. That's it in like a holy nutshell, if you will. So as a life coach, your literal job is just to sit on the other side of the table from this person who says they want more for their life. And you just ask them a series of questions that you personally come up with about their goals. So like when I jump on here and I say, who wants to become a life coach? What questions do you have? Any specific questions for what the certification process looks like to taking this for? Those are coaching questions. So as a life coach, you're asking questions. Notice I didn't say you show up with your Bible and your towel and your cup of water and your neck pre-moisturized to roll and tell people what to do and shoulda, coulda, woulda, did, and if it was you, this is what. That is not coaching. But most people don't know that because they haven't been educated on this process. One of the core principles of my company for Black women of faith, as I train them and certify them as life coaches, is to educate them on the process of what a life coach is and is not. I just told y'all that. So real quick, if you've been listening, what is a life coach, y'all? It's not deep. I don't even know if you can find a term in the dictionary. That's how new it is. But you never know. They got the term selfie in the dictionary. So that came out way after the 90s. So a life coach is not there to pick apart someone's life or tell them what to do or give them advice or share opinions or judge them or be biased. We are there to ask them questions about their goal. I am coming up with a list of over 100 questions. I don't even know what number I am, but I've categorized them depending on where a person is in their life. So let's say you have a goal to become a coach. I'm going to use what I have experience with. I have experience in so many areas, but I'm going to relate as you need to be related to. So let's say you are a Black woman of faith who wants to become a certified life coach. One of my first questions and introductions to my tribe when you take the Black Life Coach quiz is, what is a life coach to you? That's on my quiz. That's a coaching question. And I'll let you answer. I don't give you the answer. I used to try to give you a hint, but I'm like, no, let me see what you know, because then I'll know what resources to point you to, how to help you. Second question I say is, what's your vision for becoming a coach? Ooh, did you feel that? If you're like me, you just felt that, like, ooh, vision. That means I get to dream bigger than where I am. I get to see myself beyond what I have been able to get myself to. Somebody's actually asking me about my goals as a coach. Oh my God. And you get to tell me, y'all, when y'all take this quiz, y'all send me books and I read them. Some of y'all text me because my text is on my Black Life Coach quiz. My number to text, my personal cell, is on my quiz. And y'all tell me all your business about why you want to become a coach. It's a coaching question. The third part is, would you like some free resources about how to take this further? And one of the resources being a support circle of people who were where you currently are, and they too want to become coaches and grow a coaching company. Y'all like, yes, please. So you come and you join things like my groups, my email list, my trainings, my videos, my podcast. I do what my coach calls leave breadcrumbs. So as you get hungrier and hungrier for knowledge on who can meet you where you are as a Black woman of faith, wanting to become certified, you have at some point followed the breadcrumbs that led you here. Okay, I left little treats for you to get here to get your questions answered, but they all started with coaching questions. Notice I didn't say, let me tell you what a life coach is. You ain't no life coach. You know how church do. That ain't God. Well, you ain't no life coach if you can't. That's not coaching. A life coach in a nutshell, and we talk about this more in the training over at blacklifecoachselfstudy.com, and it's okay to go be nosy, join the course, get educated, and then make an educated decision for if you're going to add the title life coaching to your resume or if you're going to start your own coaching company. I show you how to do either one. I prefer to teach you how to make money as a business owner, but it's up to you. But I share that because the educational process is necessary, because a lot of people don't know what a coach is, but we dive into the 3 basics of a coach, which is to help your clients set goals. Remember, we said, what's your vision? Take action, making sure that they're doing what they said they want to do, and then achieve those results in their life that you can help them get to, because now it's 2 brains on their goals versus them. They got themselves as far as they could. Now they need you to just ask them questions, to listen, to maybe hint at some recommendations or some resources, but you don't give them the answers. You help lead them to the answers by asking questions. Does it make sense now what a life coach is, or semi what it does? As I told one of our very first coaches, Coach Camille, she is coach number 111. And I know that because when she raised her hand and said, yes, I'm a Black woman of faith, I want to become a certified life coach, I want you to be my trainer, Dr. AJ. She was one of our first coaches that said yes and signed up when I brought this training online, completely revamped from anything that I had taught. I've been teaching and training coaches since 2016. As I mentioned earlier, we have 167 on our roster. Coach Camille is number 111. And when she said yes to the training, me, her, and 4 other ladies, it was a group of 5 that went through our very first live stream life coach certification training. Say that fast 3 times. And so I share that because this is what we talked about in the training, and a version of that training is featured over at blacklifecoachselfstudy.com with our 10 for 10 program, where you pay only $100 a month for 10 months. Take the training, get certified. You're really going to learn more than I taught Coach Camille and the crew, because every time I do this training, every round goes higher and higher, if you will. Amen. And so I brought that up because you need to find where you fit in a space as you gain an understanding of what a life coach does, especially a Black life coach. I'm working on the terminology for how we stand out in the industry, how we're so different than what's out there. But some of it is just cultural, and you can't understand. You can't explain. You don't have a, disclosure for why you are who you are. So if you were on my live recently, and I was like, we got one to 2 terms I can say to any Black woman probably in the world. But I'm going to stick with the U.S. because that's where mostly you guys are. We could be anywhere in the world, and I can look at you and be like, girl, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you've seen it too. You witnessed it too. You experienced it too. You was thinking it too. Whatever it's about, that one word carries so much. It's like a loaded statement. It's a story in and of itself. Or child. That one word does so much. I can't teach anybody about that. It's like you got to live that experience. And that's what you want to look for in your coach training programs as well. So as you're out here Googling, because a lot of y'all tell me I pop up on Google, you're out here YouTubing, Y'all tell me you find me on YouTube after Sarah Jake's motivational videos and stuff. And so as you're seeking your training, you need to be educated on how they can meet you where you are in your cultural experience, plus showing you what a Black life coach does, because our experience is different, period. I can't explain it. Sometimes I don't want to. I don't have to, because y'all know what I'm tying back, right? If you're from the South, you know what I just said. Hey, let's size more. Hey. So, that is what a life coach is. I actually am going to do a series of videos that talk about the difference between what people think. Let me squeeze that in real quick. So some people ask, okay, well, now that I know what a life coach is, what's the difference between a coach and a counselor? I will do a follow-up video to this. But I'm going to talk about briefly how when people hear that I'm a life coach or that I train life coaches, they instantly hear the word counselor. And I'm not a counselor. I don't desire to be a counselor, even though my educational experience started out in psychology. I was planning on first going into pre-med as a pediatrician because I love babies. But then I took an internship that showed me all babies are not born with all 10 toes and 10 fingers. And I was like, I would sit there and cry, probably worse than the parents. So I don't need to bring that to this space. Then my mom was like, you don't even like snot or blood. I'm going to need you to change your major. I have a very sensitive stomach, so I had to change my major. I changed my major from medicine to psychology because I could still work with people, with humans. I could still work with kids, you know. But then when I realized that the psychology path in colleges, specifically at HBCU, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but it was leading me down the path of sitting in a cooped up office with someone who talks to demons and spirits. And no, just no. Just like no to blood and snot and vomiting and just no. I can't do. I don't want to do that because as a Christian, I believe 1,000,000% that spirits travel. So you might walk in talking to a spirit, and I walk out talking to them too. I don't need that in my life. I'm so sorry. It would have changed my entire personality, my demeanor, who I am. So I had to change it up. So I switched once I found out other really good careers existed in my lane. I met a lady at Mercer University here in Atlanta who was like, Dr. AJ, you are such a great teacher. Like, you are already out working with women. You're teaching, you're training. We've seen your work in the community. I had a workshop in partnership with Dove, the beauty company. So I would travel around the city of Atlanta and people would drive in and come hang out with me. It was mothers and daughters. So I would do mother-daughter workshops, teaching them how to have better relationships with themselves and each other. And we would talk based on what Dove had taught me to do as a facilitator. I still wasn't a counselor. I still didn't listen to issues and drama and blah, blah, blah. I was always the go-between of the mother and the daughter because I know how to communicate both languages. I was not old enough to be their mom, and I was young enough to be the mom's sister. So I was like Auntie AJ, and I loved it. So that's how I started walking into the role of a coach. And when I met my advisor at Mercer, she's like, you're already out in the community doing the work of a trainer. Let's get you a degree in training and development because psychology ain't it. Pre-med ain't it. We can look at your transcripts and see, yeah, no. So that's why it took me 15 years to get this degree because I was trying to decide what degree to get. I just knew I wanted a degree, okay? And so shouts out to Dr. Lowry Lincoln at Mercer University and Breezy at Mercer University. And who else? I had a lot of helpers that helped me make sense of my journey. And Ruby, hey girl. And so when we put our brains together, training and development is what fit me most because I was already doing the work thanks to Dove, thanks to my experience of like trial and error of what I didn't want to be. And here I am as a trainer. And then when I met my coach who certified me as a coach, I actually got certified as I was going. Hey, Renata. I never know. Renata. I think it's Renata. Hey, girl. So when I met my coach who certified me, which is so funny because I did the trainings like on the next block up the street from Mercer as a coach. So I took a training here in Atlanta, got certified as a life coach, had a degree as a trainer, A week later, was invited to come train and certify coaches again because I have experience as a trainer, degree as a trainer, and I knew I was on the right path by then. I had done enough speaking, enough coaching, enough workshops, enough community outreach to know, like, I love the training part. I need to interact with humans, not sitting in an office. I need to be out and about, not looking at blood and snot and vomit and stuff. I know, I'm sorry to gross y'all out. Some of y'all might be eating. Anyway, I ended up in coaching versus counseling. Now, I have experience, and that's what I'm going to talk about in a future live, the difference in my experience as a coach and a counselor. Because y'all can look online and find the difference. Go to Google and ask Google what's the difference between coach and counselor. Y'all can get that, but I can tell you what my experience as a coach versus experience getting into counseling versus experience in having a counselor. Hey, Zachary. Those are three different lived experiences, not textbook theory, not a dictionary definition. This is experience. And a lot of people don't teach from that standpoint. So I'm going to do a future live about that. And more of the commonly asked questions. Y'all got me talking about the vaccine and all that. So that took up some of our time for addressing our top 5 frequently asked questions. So that means you got to tune in again, set your notifications. But if you have heard something that really like tickled your ears and you're like, I want to know more about becoming a Black woman of faith who's a certified life coach, head over to blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. Claim one of the last 2 spots we have for this round of our 10 for 10 program. I have some other fun stuff coming up for those of you who need more education about this space. That's why I'm here. Education is at my core. The decisions I make, the things I do, how I run my life daily is all based on education. So I'm here, sis. I have the knowledge to help you make the decision for what becoming a certified life coach could look like for you or not. Are there any questions with anyone here with me live? If you are listening to the replay and you reach this point of the video, chat with your questions in the comments below. Let me know you watched. Let me know what other topics you want to hear about. It's probably already on my list of 16 questions. So that means I got to come back and do whole lot more videos than I originally thought. But it's okay, because I do what I love and I love what I do. So are there any questions about 1 or 2 of the most frequently asked questions that future Black life coaches have, with the number 1 question of all being, what is a life coach? I don't know what that is. I just know I looked at your video and I like you and you train coaches. What is a life coach? Or maybe you've heard about life coaching before because one of your friends or colleagues told you that you should become a coach, but you don't know what it is. Or maybe you got caught up in the whirlwind of information that is Google University, of billions of people telling you their definition of coaching. I'm breaking it down for the Black women of faith who want to become certified life coaches with a real, experienced, lived approach and story in this industry over the last over 8 years. So if you want that version of coaching, head over to blacklifecoachselfstudy.com and also stay tuned for future chats about these questions. I know y'all curious and want to know what's on my list. That's my list. I have to keep it in front of me so I know what I'm talking about. So just know that I'll show up with the list again and talk a little bit more. Are there any questions before I go? I don't want to miss anyone. If you're writing a question, just throw up an emoji really quick. If not, I'm going to get back to my sweet potato fries and probably another nap as I sleep this off. Okay, cool. Hi, Erica Simpson. She said, no, this was good. I am attaining my hours as a therapist now, and I'm questioning if this is what I want to do. They got me thinking, thanks. So there is another future Black life coach I was talking to a little bit earlier in my series of lives on this topic, and she said the same thing. Now, she's training to get her license as a social worker. So I train tons of social workers. I train full offices of therapists. We have an office here in Atlanta that just one by one sends their clinicians, especially those who are still in college and they're trying to sort it out. So my youngest coach that I've certified is 23 years old. Her name is Savannah, and she's here in Atlanta. She was attending Oglethorpe University at the time that I trained her. This was years ago. And that's where she was like, I'm really liking this coaching thing. I'm so glad, that the office sent me here. Like they would pay for their training to come and train with me because the leader of the office had trained with me. And she said the same thing, Dr. AJ. I am trying to decide, do I want to commit 4 more years? Because this is a lot. And so you have to know your vision. So Erica, I would ask, what's kind of your vision? Because I don't know if you caught the full live, but through trial and error, I realized that sitting in a psychology office or committing 4+ years of my life to not even have the highest title of the land in that area, it was just, I wanted more. I wanted to talk to more than one person. I didn't want to sit and hear about basically someone's past. That's the biggest thing about counseling, and I'll talk about that in a future live. Because counseling deals with the past, coaching deals with the present and the future. Because I'm more like, okay, I mean, I get it. Like I'm too blunt and straightforward for counseling. Because, yeah, you could tell me one time that your mama hurt your feelings and now you don't know what you want to do with your life. And I'll be like, okay, so what's the plan? Because my mama got on my nerves too, hurt me multiple times. She is why I am the way I am, but we ain't here for me. What's the plan, sis? That I would have probably lost my license several times. So, like, let me not even tempt the Holy Spirit and go to an industry where I have more freedom. I am in love with the coaching space. And life coaching is the foundation of all coaching if your coach has been trained and certified. So I get it. Hey, Lisa. So, let me see. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll. Oh, let me make these big. I always forget. So you said you're questioning what to do right now. This is your trial and error phase, girl. If you got the money to do it, go for it. I had the money via scholarships. Like my mentor, Dr. Isabella T. Jenkins, she is a legend at Clark Atlanta University. She just passed away a couple weeks ago. She's 89 years old. She was the money of the college. And I had the honor of meeting her in my beginning phase, my self-discovery phase of what trial and error even looked like. So I was accepted to Clark Atlanta University. Don't even ask me what year because I can't remember. I graduated high school in 99, so I'm young. And that summer, I think I was already graduated. So yeah, maybe it was 99. Just came back to me. 40-year-old brain, Jesus. And I met Dr. Jenkins. I think I was introduced to her. And I remember she just used to come walk and talk with the students. I'm like, who is this black millionaire? Come to find out, she was the contact for the university who got all the money. When people were looking to help black students, the checks came to Dr. Jenkins' office. So that was my second home on campus, but not just for the money. It was because I knew she would help point me in the right way. She took such good care of us. And us meaning she got to know me. Come to find out, I placed at honors level to take honors classes at the university. So she placed me in the honors program. So my honors psychology kicked my tail twice. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. I took the class. I was so dedicated to making sure that counseling and psychology is what I wanted. I took the class twice. I wasn't pleased with my first grade, and my colleagues thought I was crazy. I was like, yeah, no, if I'm gonna spend my life doing this, I need to make sure I know what it is. I don't want to just skate by not really knowing what this stuff is. I need to know. I'm about education. So thanks to the generosity of Dr. Jenkins and hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships to make sure I could stay in the university, have a place to lay my head on campus, eat, have my textbooks, go shopping when I wanted to, car taken care of, gas in my car. She loved on us. And as a just part of staying in her world, I became a TA for her, which goes back to facilitation. She gave me my first shot at teaching and training on my own. So I was responsible for all the new freshman honor students who were coming through the university at Clark Atlanta University here in Atlanta. And they didn't know what to do with their refund check money. They didn't know what to do with their scholarship money. They wanted to get some help. So I was the dorm room phone that they rang, and I gave advice and talked them off the ledge of being scared of changing their mind and just dropping that all together because we were first generational college students. So legacy was starting to be built, all thanks to Dr. Jenkins and her legacy. And it gave me time to relax enough to try out pre-med major, failed calculus twice. I was like, yeah, no, this ain't for me. So I knew I wasn't going to be in nobody's lab. mixing up chemicals because I could look out the window on the promenade and see the Greeks out stepping and barbecuing. And I was like, yeah, I ain't supposed to be in here mixing chemicals and guessing at gases and stuff. This ain't me. Tried that twice. Tried psychology. Took it twice. But I had the leniency to do that thanks to the honors program, thanks to Dr. Jenkins, thanks to the generosity of people who would donate and write checks, like the Tom Joyner morning show. And who was my biggest scholarship donor? Oh God, the Church's Homes Foundation. Sorry, Miss White, I know your name. So they followed me throughout my entire 15-year career. They are majority of that $100,000. There are two here in Atlanta. They literally tracked my journey. I had to send them a picture of me as a freshman in the honors program, all the way to my graduation in 2016. So from 1999 to 2016, and then they sent me a nice little check that I used to buy the car that I drive right outside my house right now, just to say, "Child, girl, you made it." So I say that because if you have the time, if you have the money, if you have the blessings and the favor of God on your life like I did, take your time during the trial and error phase and decide if this is where you can see yourself. I also appreciate knowing, hey, Just Bree, I appreciate knowing that coaching gives me way more flexibility. I have talked to so many therapists and counselors who are like, what can I do as a coach? And that's another live I'm going to do, because counseling limits you to your state or your region. So I've learned a lot from talking to people who actually made it through that degree getting process, those clinical hours, that abnormal psychology that kicked my tail. And they say counseling is very restrictive. And I know y'all got guidelines. If all I told you, I would have lost my license multiple times for just like not staying on script. So I thought I had a straw in here. So I share that because it pays to have experience in both, or experience at least interviewing and getting educated in both, to seeing what you're able to do or not before you commit your career to it. It may not be the rest of your life, but it's your career. So for me, training life coaches, being in the life coach space as a trainer, is something I can literally see myself retiring in. So we did a boot camp, a live boot camp online, and we had several ladies that showed up, and we talked about vision as a coach. And we got to the end, and one of the coaches boldly said, well, Dr. AJ, what's your vision? And that is my vision, seeing the women that I train as a master life coach certification trainer. Hey, Paula. Hey, Tina. Is to see that vision come through fruition through you guys who come and get certified, who go to blacklifecoachselfstudy.com and take our one-day life coach certification training that's spelled out in 10 months, because it gives you time to make up your mind about where you want to go as a coach. And then it's just freedom from there. It is like, oh, I could go do this, I could go do that, I could do this. So we coaches, and I'm doing a lot about that too, we have the freedom and flexibility to do so many things under our own terms. So much so where people look at you funny, y'all. Like, the life I live today, people are so curious. My neighbors wonder, like, how you at home all day? You slept all day? You didn't go to work? My the lady that does my eyebrows, she cannot figure out what I do for the life of her. She's like, you work today? Yes, Miss Lee, I work today. What you do? I did videos. Videos? She don't know about Facebook Live, y'all. So I shared that. Hey, Eatness. So I share that because as I train and certify Black women of faith, I become more and more educated on those who are in the social work space, who are in the counseling and therapy space, and how they are so happy to find coaching because it expands their horizons. It doesn't limit you to a state. Coaching is global, so your certificate is literally international. We have a coach in Vietnam right now that if I emailed her and was like, we're doing a class in Atlanta, we would start filling out her paperwork to get her green card to come here, or visa, work visa, I think it is, to come here. So she has a pattern where she comes to Vietnam, pass through California, then comes to Atlanta, train, and then trek back to Vietnam as a certified life coach because her certificate is international. We have coaches in the Cayman Islands, Austria, Australia, Africa. So you can go coach anywhere. Nobody is auditing you or limiting you to what you can and can't do. So now is the perfect time to kind of explore both if you can at the same time, because as you see, what I have over at blacklifecoachselfstudy.com is taking a 1-day life coach certification training, spreading it out for 10 months. You can get the 1-day version if you want. Just let me know in the inbox. So it's not as much time commitment as getting a degree, getting a license, and then deciding this ain't for me. So hopefully that makes sense to you, Erica. Because, yeah, you can kind of play around with it and don't have to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Thank God for my journey. And now that's why I show up to share with you guys what I've learned along this life coaching and counseling path. But as I mentioned, most people cannot share that part of their life because all the trainings that are out here, everybody's not a professional trainer. And when you ask questions like that, the difference between coaching and counseling and social work and stuff like that, people don't have personal experience in their industry, so they can only tell you what you're going to find on Google. So that's why I say y'all can find the basics on Google. But if you want to know my experience, I can only tell you that, Any other questions before I go? Looking for a cough drop. I had one. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see questions, y'all. So I'm gonna wrap up. I'm getting hot. I need to go cool down. I get excited, so I overheat. I'm sitting here sweating. If you're writing a question, Erica, Lisa, Paula, any of you guys, if you're writing questions, just throw up an emoji real quick and I'll hang out. Wipe my eyeballs up. Any final questions before I go? Make sure you check out blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. Again, blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. Get one of the last 2 spots. I'm hot, so I gotta go. Okay. Okay, Erica says you're good. Thank you for letting me know. Woo, Sara. Remember, there's someone somewhere. They are waiting on you to walk in your destiny as a future Black certified life coach so they can walk into theirs. Because it's when you let your own light shine, you give others permission to do the same. As a certified life coach, when you impact one life, you impact generations. Y'all ready to impact generations? Head over to blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. Turn your notifications on because I'm coming back to teach you some more. We're going to actually make it through this list of 16. I know we got to like 1.5 today, so forgive me for that, okay? Y'all have a phenomenal rest of your night, and I'll see you soon. God bless. Bye, future Black Life Coaches. Head up to blacklifecoachselfstudy.com. I'll see y'all there. Peace.